I'd like to welcome you. It's Monday, and it's good to be together. The other day, a couple came by the church, and I hadn't seen them in a long time, and haven't seen a lot of people in a long time. And they came in and made a contribution, and I went out and was talking to them in the car in the parking lot, and they had their two kids with them, and I said, "Yeah, I really miss you guys." And she said, we miss you too, and we're going to come back. But she said, "I really, really enjoy your moments of joy." And I said, "You mean the thought for the day?" "Oh yeah, the thought for the day." And I thought to myself, that was kind of a nice thing, that we all need moments of joy. And I hope in some small measure, despite my ramblings and disjointed thoughts, I hope that maybe they are moments of joy or moments of hope. It's hard to believe that this weekend, actually on March 19th, will mark the second anniversary of the Thought for the Day. So it's been 2 years, and you've been more than patient with me, and I do want to thank Len and Doug and Debbie, who have been there every step of the way to make it happen. And a shout out to people like Jane, who stopped by and support us. But it's just hard to believe it's been 2 years. And I'm thinking how over the past couple of years with the pandemic, and now with what's going on in Ukraine, it's easy to get beaten down. It's easy to get overcome by all the things that have happened to us. And sometimes I can get even selfish about some of the things that have happened. And yet, in the middle of all that, we have to live our lives. We need moments of joy. We need a place of hope that kind of helps us put life in perspective. And after church, almost everybody had gone, and there were just two people sitting in Charter Hall. And they said, "Can we just talk for a second?" And I said, "Well, sure." And she said, I'm just glad that our church is here. Because when I come to church and sing the songs and pray, it helps me understand and put things in perspective so that I can walk out the door and do what I have to do to live my life, because we have people to take care of. We have acts of kindness that we have to show unto others. We have to go about the business of living. And so in the middle of everything that's going on, we need moments of joy and moments of hope and maybe a place, a safe refuge, so that we can go about our business and at the same time care about the people, especially in Ukraine, where so much is going on. I mentioned yesterday one of the residents of Heartland Children's Home, Lizzie, and her name is on the sign this week, and she's gone through a lot. She's 19 years old, she's fragile, she's pretty much bedridden. And I mentioned yesterday in church that she is surrounded by a team of hope and comfort. And she is one of the most positive people you could ever meet. And I was thinking of the kids in our church. They come up here for the kids' sermon, they sit on the floor, and we laugh and we sing, and they are surrounded by a community of hope, their family and their church. And then on the other side of the world, my gosh, there's kids and adults that are losing their lives. Nurseries and schools and residences and businesses are being bombed. And on the one hand, you have places of hope. On the one hand, you have that. And yet, in the middle of all that, we're called to live. And maybe what's going on makes us realize that small acts of kindness, taking our time to reach out to others, maybe being a little bit more generous than we've ever been, that those are the ways that we can somehow make a difference, even though maybe we can't change the world. The words for today are simple. They're from Ben Franklin, where he says this: "Wish not so much to live long as to live well." I think of those words. I think of kids like Lizzie. I think of those who have lost their lives in Ukraine. I think of all the people whose life is short. I think of Adam and Amy, whose pictures hang outside my office. And they lived short lives. And yet, the meaning of their life is not measured by how long, it's measured by a life well lived. And after all these years, I think of Adam and Amy, 25, 26, 27 years since they left us, their spirit still graces our path. A life well lived. I was thinking about my dad a lot. You know, when my dad was my age, he was beginning to fail a little bit, and he died at the age of, I think, 78 or 79. My mom died at the age of 60. And yet, the lesson I learned from my dad, and he was just an ordinary guy, that there were so many things that he did, but he never really talked about them. There were so many acts of generosity, but he never called attention to himself. And in a way, the measure of his life, and hopefully the measure of your life and mine, is that when our journey is over, it'll be not how long we were here, but a life well lived. A life that was full of some grace, a life that is full of a dash of generosity, a life of humility and kindness. And I guess while all we're going through now, and just moments like this where we share on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or coming to church, or whatever you're going to be doing for the rest of the day, if each one of us can just take those moments, and someday people can look back and say, that person had a life that was well lived. And every day, being patient and being kind and reaching out unto others, that defines the majesty of God's Spirit, a spirit that lives inside the heart and soul of each one of us. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.